We must realize that part of the Soviet Union and International Socialism's program is not only for the violent overthrow of governments called world socialism, but it also is a part of Fabian socialism, where they infiltrate countries such as the United States, England, Western Europe, and as a direct result of infiltration, they socialize by legislation little by little, and then they eventually socialize and impose a government upon those countries where they control businesses and the distribution of the wealth through graduated taxation. And now what I would like to do is read a quote directly from V.I. Lenin himself, and let us see exactly how they planned on taking over the world. He said, and I quote, "First we will take Eastern Europe, then the masses of Asia." They've already done all of this. They've taken Central Europe, or Eastern Europe. They've taken all the masses of Asia. Then he said, we will encircle the United States, which we just saw on a map, where they've already taken Nicaragua. They're working on Honduras. They've taken Cuba. They're working on El Salvador. Mexico has had socialist communist teachers for 30 years, and it's a requirement practically for you to be a teacher in the state of Mexico. So they have encircled the United States. He said the United States, which will be the last bastion of capitalism, we shall not have to attack. It, referring to the United States, will fall like a ripe fruit into our hands. End of quote. So definitely, as we can see today by world maps and so on, the socialist communist program is working. And Ezekiel chapter 38 said that every nation which they overthrow, Russia will prepare them militarily and be the protector of those communist countries. Now let's take a view at the strategic area of Africa and see what is the Soviet Union's strategy against Africa. But first I want to show what is happening in the news today. Little tiny Kuwait has been overrun by Iraq. And is this a part of Bible prophecy? Yes, it is, because it definitely says in Ezekiel chapter 38 and in verse 5 that Persia, which is part of the old Persian Empire, Iraq, Iran, and Kuwait are within the confines of the borders of the old empire. So this means that Kuwait definitely will be a part of the communist bloc. Now I would like to show a few maps showing the location of Iran, Iraq, the old Persian Empire, and modern-day Kuwait. Here is a map showing the old Persian Empire. As you can see from this, here is Iran, here is Iraq, and little tiny Kuwait is right down here on the corner. And modern-day Turkey is in this area. So Iraq, in this area right here, moved right in and took Kuwait, which is in the borders of the old Persian Empire. And the Bible very definitely says that they will be a part of this end-time Russian apparatus. Here's a close-up of Iran in the eastern edge of the old Persian Empire. And of course Iraq is to this side, and then right here is where Kuwait would be located, and then Saudi Arabia is right here, and of course the troops from Iraq are gathering on the border of Saudi Arabia. Now I'll show a map, an up-close map of Iraq. Once again, as you can see from this map, this is the area of Iran right here, and Iraq is just to the west of it, and here's where Kuwait will be, and the armies are massing right on the border here of Saudi Arabia. And now I'll give a close-up of Kuwait so you can get it in mind as to where it is in comparison to the Persian Empire. Again, we see that here's Iran to the east of the old Persian Empire, then Iraq to the west, and then you've got little tiny Israel here in Turkey, and then right down by the Persian Gulf is Kuwait, right on the Gulf, and then Saudi Arabia. And so you can see Iraq moved right in and overtook little tiny Kuwait. And now they are part of the Soviet regime because Iraq definitely is in the orbit of the Soviet Union. With the understanding now of where Kuwait, Iraq and Iran are located in the Middle East within the confines of the old Persian Empire, and it definitely states that Persia will be allied with Russia in the latter days. Now let's once again let Mr. Donald McIlvaney, who is an expert on intelligence on the strategy for South Africa and African takeover, give us the strategy for the taking of Africa by the Soviet Union. Mr. McIlvaney.